The Ugandan National Museum, a place where unforgettable memories are created. Traditions are found and a connection to our Paul is reinforced. It is not only a testimony to the history of our nation, but also impacts knowledge of cultural and natural heritage to the present and future generations for their enjoyment. Through a variety of activities and exhibitions, we gather to discover our traditions and create new ones. The Uganda Museum is our country's cultural icon that makes it accessible for the next generations to come together as our story unfolds and represents the interplay of our country's past and present. It is in our history, but also in how it has evolved to embrace optical satisfaction and new influences. Our identity as a country is not only a moment in time, but also a journey of where we have been, where we are, and where we are going. We invite you to experience the authentic heritage, rich history of Uganda. Welcome to the Uganda National Museum.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
Go to the church, though.
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now, record. Do you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly. Because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Kulikayo webale kubanga okyali ku Digitalk TV. Nze Edgar Matthew Karuhanga eno program bagiyita Mighty Drive. Ebeerayo buli lunaku olwa Monday paka ku lunaku olwokutaano. Tutandika ku ssaawa 2 paka ssaawa 4 ez'okumakya nga tunyumyamu emboozi. Tubabulira biki ebigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga. Osobola okubanga okola okusalawo nga kulungamiziddwa bulungi omuzungu kyayita an informed decision. Nina wano omwami Mwesige Joram, thank you so much for watching. Ogamba Edgar Matthew, the government and community has no right how you spend your money. Government should pay attention to what is important. Bave Murugambo, you say you need the public to closely monitor how you use your money. So government abantu babulijjo bakkirizibwa okubanga bamanyi engeri sente gye zikolebwamu. Brooke Williams kikomeko kwoli, Henry Mangeni kwoli, Kasule Isma kwoli, Henry Lubowa nawe kwoli. Banaye muli bangi mwebale kubanga mutulaba. Nabagambe ndine David Musiri onono nga yakulembera amatendekero oba institutions mu kibiina kya National Unity Platform. Yeyagaliza entebe ya Makindye West wetusinziira okubanga tukuweereza enkya y'olunaku olwaleero. Council chicho oyogera ku mbeera yadde Kawempe wetwogerera nga Jokoti. In fact, olunaku lwali Council Nalukooal abadde aweza emyezi 2. mu parliament. So we had thought it was done and dusted. Omukyala Nambi yasooka nakkiriza nti baamuwangula ate n'agenda n'ateekayo omusango ate n'agugjayo ate n'aguzzaayo kati mu kuguzzaayo officially electoral in fact court yakakasiza that balina okudda mu balonde bujja. Kiki olowooza mu mbeera eno naddala nga tuli mu kwetegekera akalulu ka 2026?
Ebintu by'ekawempe bizibu, but one of the things I can tell you and tell Ugandans who are now viewing us from here.
Yes, sir.
One, courts have always been on trial. Even when there is an electoral petition, it means wherever you handle it, people are watching you. The law is watching you. The rule of law is watching you. Therefore, courts are on trial. Tiwetubanga tugezesebwa mu electoral petition zino kikulu nnyo kubanga we are observing nti ekikolebwa kyekyo kirina okukolebwa. But one, wotunulira ku nsalawo ya kooti ne Nalukooal oku appealinga to court of appeal. One, otunulira nnyo akalulu ako n'oketegereza nti woba ogambye nti akalulu kadibwemu kalondebwe ng'ate okimanyi bulungi nti tewaliwo by election ekkirizibwa mu myezi 6 nga tugenda tuuka akalulu. Otunulira kati olwaleero akalulu ako we bagambidde baddeyo balonde, kitegeeza nti bw'okkiriza n'odda mu kalulu akalulu kate kagenda kubaayo.
Exactly, because oba oyingidde emyezi 6. Yes. Okujjako
era njagala kwebaza bonna aba, of course they are very conscious people abasazewo nti baapiiringe. Si kukwapiiringa nti olw'okubanga bakkiriza nnyo nti kooti egenda kubawa obwenkanya. But ne bwe bandibadde tebaapiirinze waba tiwagenda kubeerayo kalulu. Kitegeeza nti at the end of the day omuntu w'ekawempe mu constituency yabadde ajja kunyigirizibwa nga talina representation.
Tamulina wetuwugirira kati literally.
When you appeal to high court, you automatically stay in parliament.
Yeah, that's true. And the appeal will take even up to 90 days.
Jemiezi esatu. Kati naye ekyokusomoza kimunze nze omanyi ng'ebirala byonna mbiraba n'obunafu nsobola okukola ki? Obulamu. Obunafu we bwabadde naddala eri abalonzi akalulu akali highly contested like that. Nze ndowooza mbadde following court says mubadde mulimu ekibulamu. Nti one, abalonzi bo bagenda kulonda bulonzi ndowooza ne balekawo ne basuulaawo kalulu ndowooza kyetwandiise okusuula. Okwo tekuba kulonda osuula busuuzi kalulu n'ogamba ekijja kijje gwe osuula n'otunula eri. But in all these processes we would have seen the involvement of the mwananchi, the people themselves. Nti kooti ng'akalulu mwagala nnyo omubaka gwe mwakalonda, esooka kooti zandibadde nga zijjula buli kooti, n'ekyokubiri nti n'abantu ne bajja ne babeerawo ku street wabweru wa kooti. Lwaki ne tulaba nga amagye gabagoba bugobi oba poliisi ng'ebakola ki oba nga abaofiisa ba kooti bagamba nti kati kino kikoleze kiyitiridde. Otherwise kiki ekikuleetera okulowooza nti kooti egenda kubawa obwenkanya? Kubanga ne bwe mubeera mu lutalo, because what they were going through, the electoral petition eyo gy'olabanga kooti, it is also a battle. You see, in Kawempe it is a bigger war, but in a war there are battles. And every battle you go for you to win that battle, we know kubeera nga oli very vigilant and so conscious. You have to play your game well. Nti wetubadde mu lutalo olwo ng'olaba lutalo oyinza okulaba nga ababadde nti abalonzi bo bakijjako abagamba ffe twalonda Nalukooal byonna bitumaliriza. But abalonzi babadde nabo balina omuzannyo balina role y'okukola. Nti ne mu lutalo ne bamwami Museveni bagenda mu nsiko we bagamba nti ceasefire. Do you know what happened? They go for negotiations but in the field ziseka.
Bali Nairobi peace talks nayenga eruwero
zichaka. Obali tomanyi kiyinza kuteeka mulamuzi ku bunkenke nga kubanga asalawo ensala yonna yonna ey'omusango naye nga wabweru abantu bajjudde abalonzi b'ekawempe bagamba temuzanyira mu kalulu kaffe. Ekisooka akalulu ako kaalimu ebintu bingi, abantu baawambibwa, olwaleero tukyalina n'abantu abaalemala nga batambulira ku miggo.
Munamole gwe bajjamu eriiso.
Waliwo ku bintu byonna byonna ebyabaddewo okitegeera. Why do you think that Ugandans have to stay comfortable and leave the battle to either NUP and their member of parliament?
But they have taken part in that battle before. But you remember what happened even on
I am telling you,
on the polling
in the battle, I am telling you, there is nothing that shall be given to us on a silver platter. It is a continuous battle. You don't fight and go back and you turn into slumbers. You go and notandika abanywa ne banywa abadigida ne badigida abagenda mu
ne ulide ko tiyawadde yagambye ku polling stations 14 obululu bwayo bonna tebabu consideringa waliwo ebizibu ku polling stations ezo. Nalukooal ya campaigninga ku campaign day kitakkirizibwa n'ennambi tebamukkiriza kulonda n'abantu abala mutwalo gumu kakaaga babalemesa nga mu ndaba ya kooti results zino zine engeri gye zaali affectinzemu akalulu k'ekawempe kakaddamu. Kooti eina point naddala Judge Bernard Namanya.
Nze ndowooza ogamba nti obululu tebaabalibwa ku polling station eno 14. There are rules that govern an election which has pretended over by the Constitution of Uganda. I have had elections nze mbadde mu bululu obwenjawulo. Sometimes some polling station is unverified and there are reasons to why they are unverified. Kubanga toyinza kugamba bugambi olwokubanga if there is a reason why it was nullified, there is no reason why you bring it back to the court. For example, tugamba nti akalulu waliwo be bakutte nga babbira akalulu ne bagamba kya bulijjo ne mu kalulu akabeera national wabeerawo polling stations nnyingi ezitabalirwa olw'ensonga nti wabaddewo obuvuyo mu polling station yezo. Era obuvuyo bwe bubeerawo, that is a regulator. Why they nullified those polling stations because there was something wrong that was happening. Perhaps that's why it was not counted. Because if it was well with everything, why couldn't they have counted all the votes? So bino byonna byetera okugamba nti kibeera kiiso kya mbuzi. Muganda agamba nti kiiso kya mbuzi kirekerera omusi ne kitunulira omubaazi. You know, whoever slaughters the fish.
The goat.
Agisaze ona asaze ko omutwe. Naye gwaza okujjako eddiba gwe kikola kigwe kitunulira. So nze ndowooza nti Chovola nagambye in the beginning that courts are on a trial.
Have they failed?
Oh, they have failed on very many occasions.
But when they give you justice, Musiri, you don't call
like
them a
when?
failure.
Like
the Supreme Court ruling in 2021, you welcomed the Chief Justice's ruling and you said this is a good ruling that was done by the Supreme Court of the land. In that case,
so when for example the Chief Justice and actually the Constitutional Courts came out and said that, for example, it is wrong for a civilian to be tried in court. What is happening today?
At least they went and they put the clause.
That's what I'm telling you, that they are on trial. Do you have the real power?
No, but what I'm saying, they have done their part.
That's the principle of separation of powers work. That is when I say it is double standards. Sometimes there are indications of double standards. Today they can decide to give us, for example, victory of maybe a councillor of Sijui Rese Kabira Maido, that this one, the electoral petition, he has won the case. For that one, but what is its impact? So for me to be exonerated, one person to be singled out, what matters, is it deliberate? Does it have any impact it causes? So I should not be selfish because I won one case. Then I say, oh, now courts are working because the courts were on my side.
Okay.
Justice should be justice.
As you conclude.
You know? And should be given when it is the right time.
Yeah, because that's
and I am telling
justice.
you, and injustice anywhere, it is injustice everywhere. So you don't say because on Yagizebwat we have seen these courts on trial and they have failed very many times, but we only need, for example, to awaken the citizens of Uganda to know what is happening.
Thank you. And that's what a Mighty Drive show is here to do, to awaken the citizens of Uganda to a better country. What's happening in East Africa? What's the problem? Because these days, it feels like the entire East Africa is kind of a cocoon of what you may call some injustices. Why I say this is, you remember what happened in Kenya? Many people, Dr. Besigye was picked in Kenya last year.
Yeah.
Abducted and brought up to here. I don't even know how that happened because it is not allowed. It's actually illegal. Same case with the FDC leaders. When you go to Tanzania, Tundu Lissu has been being disappeared in different areas. Now the people who go as activists or people who try to stand with him, you've heard what happened to Mwangi, Boniface, what happened to Agatha. Very sad. Agatha confirmed that she was raped in those cells. Very, very sad. Now when you come to Uganda, we've been talking about these things. What is happening to East Africa, David?
I think we should think beyond East Africa. For me, I am seeing a phase of liberation. This time not liberating these countries from the hands of the colonialists and imperialists, but this time around is to liberate these countries from neo-colonialists, people that work on behalf of the white people, on behalf of the former colonies. Because I can guarantee you that Africa is not free. Just like Kwame Nkrumah said that, for example, Ghana cannot be independent without other colonies, other nations in Africa, without them being free or independent. One of the things that I would draw your attention for, plus the viewers, is the young man, the president, Ibrahim Traore. Most of us had thought that maybe we no longer have such people of such a caliber. For example, you would say that is the resemblance of Thomas Sankara of our generation. And sure, some people, actually even me inclusive, I think it is a phase that if we wake up, actually Africa is possible that Africa can be united under one president. One of the things that challenge me is when you see some countries, for example, like Gambia. Do you know Gambia? Have you ever visited Gambia?
The Gambia.
Gambia is one of the nations. It is a country in Africa. But this country, I think it has like, it is just like one family.
It's 1.2 million population and one
but
family.
Beyond having that population, it is a family. So it is a very small country that if you woke up one day, Karamaji and Karuhanga, and you want to run, you are jogging, you end up crossing the country, you know. And you can imagine this country called Gambia. How can it come on the same round table trying to discuss with US? How does US view it in its capacity? That, for example, now Rwanda is in negotiations with the US.
Yes.
So some of the things I think that we need in Africa is, one of the things is to unite. But we have a very big challenge of tyrannies in East Africa. For example, the overstay of General Museveni, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni in East Africa has also bastardized and encroached on all other authorities in the East Africa.
Is he that powerful, Mr. Museveni?
I am telling you, he has been here. He decides on who to become president of another country.
Wow.
Some of them, I hear that he is now one of the biggest mercenaries on the continent is General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. When it comes to go to Somalia, you'll find him. When it comes to go to for robbery in Congo, you'll find his army.
You call him
you'll find
a mercenary. Other people call him a peacekeeper.
Peacekeeper? What do you mean? Do you mean you want to say that there is peace here? You cannot be a peacekeeper on the continent when there is no peace in your country.
Are you saying Uganda does not have peace?
Which peace? Which peace when people are being abducted every day? Which peace when some people can get problems and there is no security, but only police, only security is there for the opposition leaders? Border to border. It means that
you can
I told you from the beginning. I told you from the beginning that in this country, instead of security giving peace to these people, it is hunting them as enemies. As rebels in their own country.
Because they are rebels in this country.
How?
According to
which rebel?
To UPDF.
Which rebel?
Let's first continue to talk about the rebels later. Let's talk about East Africa.
I am telling you. So you find I was part of the Gen Z last year.
Protest.
In Kenya. You'd find the people that shot the young people, the Gen Zs of Kenya. Some of them were mercenaries from Uganda. I think you got that information.
I had those rumors, the claims. There's even an image of a man. No, there is no evidence to confirm it. So as a journalist, I call
Of course, you cannot get evidence in such areas. But because technology is here, technology is here and our courts are there and they are known, that you can be seen that you are Karuhanga, you are in the UPDF, you are seen shooting young men and women in Kenya. It is possible.
There's an image of a man that was trending, really. They are claiming he was from Uganda.
So I can tell you that the impunity that has overstayed in Uganda
you've called it impunity
in East Africa.
Samia Suluhu has just come. In fact, she came to finish a term that was never even hers. I think she's finishing it this particular year. Ruto was democratically elected by Kenyans last year, I think 2022. Yes, 2022. So these people are new. How is it that in their newness, they are that shameless?
Yeah, I think those of us that were contesting even the cause of death of the former president, now it becomes clear why Magufuli had to go at that time. Because one was pig-headed, he couldn't listen to the old man. And you can imagine who was there, who is seen on his bed in the last moments. It is the current, who was by then vice president and now is the president. But also, you know what happened in Kenya? That General Museveni did not only support Ruto covertly, but physically. He came out and expressed the support.
But he has always liked Ruto, really. Even when he was still deputy president, even in his days of KANU, Ruto has been a way of, one would call, a friend to Mr. Museveni over time.
But then you should look at the roots. Why is he his friend? Because he was trained by another dictator, Moi. And Ruto was Moi's right man.
Yes, yeah. Really,
so you should know where these things start. So for him, he knew that for him, as one who has dreams, one, to become president of East Africa, but two, to become a very big mercenary in Africa, he knows which people to deal with to make sure that his plans and deals and dreams come true. So it is not just that it has just come, that it is automatic, or this has been deliberate efforts. That, for example, if you want to cordon off, for example, Tanzania, you need to use this weakness. They are just sorts of weakness.
Who is safe? Because in the past you used to hear at least people basing in Tanzania, Museveni based in Tanzania, people are basing in Kenya. Now there is no way.
And you should know the reason why he's doing that.
Why?
It is the same reason why you are saying he based in Tanzania.
Yes.
the reason why he cleared and did deforestation in this country is because he thinks that the youth may start from where he did start from. Now, the Brotherhood of East Africa, you cannot be comfortable. And everyone who thinks that for you can be comfortable in Uganda and don't think about what is happening to the neighborhood of Kenya and what is happening to Tanzania, and you think you need to, you can become and you emerge a leader, is wrong. East Africa goes hand in hand. There is nothing you can do. Because one, Uganda is a landlocked country. You need, if anything, you need to deal in business with the people of Kenya.
Of Kenya and Tanzania itself.
And Tanzania itself. So you cannot survive alone. So this old man knew that if I want to put my best here, if I want my dictatorship to go to thrive here and maybe create a monarchy, I need to do this. One, I think he deceives that these other presidents are not safe without him. It's the first thing. He tells them, if you want to be president of Kenya, you need to work with me. If you want to survive and not only serve this term that the former president left, you have to be in my...
Or maybe they also know it's what you have to do, because all of them only realize after an elective term, they fly to Uganda. I think it's one of the first countries. Ruto comes here, Samia Suluhu comes here. It's only Kagame that seldomly comes here direct. So I think they know something that David may not know. They see a power this man has and an influence that he has. And my question then is, how are you going to deal with such a powerful man?
He's not so much powerful as people seem to say. But as the East African people, we have a solution. And that's why you are seeing when activists and lawyers and journalists try to go and witness, for example, to Nusuru's courts, some are arrested, some are deported. And that cannot be a solution, because the East African people are watching. The East African people are ready to rise. They will unseat all dictators in East Africa. It has always been. I am telling you, one of the things I was saying, that one of the things that I see, it is a phase of liberation in East Africa. It is very possible that the whole of East Africa can be liberated. You remember what happened in the West African countries, where over 4 or 3 countries got their freedom, got liberated because of just a mere activist who burnt himself on the streets and didn't die that day. So don't take these activists, and when these dictators arrest them, you think activists are a joke. Do you know why we are abducted every day? Because there is something that we come with. I think East Africa is ready for a spark. We only need one trigger. It can come from Kenya, it can come from Uganda, it can come from Tanzania. And I can tell you.
You had a spark in last year. You were in Nairobi.
Yes.
What more of a spark would you want?
Of course, that wasn't on a spark. It caused a lot of... very many things were resolved in Kenya.
Yeah, I'm saying we're here in Uganda. Because
it is soon coming. You know, I have told you, when you have a war, there are battles involved. Who knows, the next battle can be 2026.
Museveni has told you before that do not expect what happened in other countries.
Museveni is not a god.
No, but
He's a
why I'm
human
saying
being.
that, because he has made 40 years saying the things he's saying, and nothing has taken him out. So this person, one would say, after 40 years, we can confirm that what he says he means.
I am telling you, that's why I was using...
He told you by 2026 you won't have opposition. We are seeing the opposition at the worst of its own. Aren't you just belittling the power that man has, that Mr. Museveni wields? Aren't you just undermining it? Aren't you just missing the strength of your opponent?
I am telling you, under the People's Jumuiya, already people are organizing. I wouldn't tell you here. But under the People's Jumuiya, people already organizing. Yesterday when I was in Kenya, we addressed the East Africa as Ugandans, as Kenyans, as people of Tanzania. We are already organizing. You see, while I am running as Member of Parliament of Makindye West, I am not only eyeing at Makindye West. Makindye West cannot be peaceful if Uganda is not peaceful at large. Uganda cannot be peaceful if the East Africa is not conscious, is not peaceful. And for us, we are ready. It doesn't matter. That's why I was telling you about Ibrahim Traore. You do not know how many times and for how long Burkina Faso has suffered. But the young man is here.
You see, Musiri, I'm also going to disagree with you when it comes to that man. I'm not disagreeing with the person of Traore.
Yes.
But the fact that Traore is holding guns, I don't think you should trust, and we as Ugandans should know this best. You don't trust men with guns. They come when they are the best. When you look at Mr. Museveni's statements during the time of the Bush, even before the Bush, even after the Bush, rightly, he was another Thomas Sankara, sorry, another Ibrahim Traore. He had the best ideas, but people with guns are still soldiers. They still have the guns. They may not be blazing, but they are still guns. So I want to disagree with most of the people who see Traore as an elite, as a liberator of Africa. Because when you also look at how he's dealing with political dissent in his Burkina Faso, then you realize that it's just, he will play when, I feel it's just politics at play as an individual.
You see, my brother, whether you have guns or you have placards, because it is two-way, majorly, you either become non-violent and come with placards or come with guns blazing. There are only two options. But I want to tell you that all of them is a battle. It's a battlefield.
Okay.
Because I don't know what you mean by someone having the gun. Because at the end of the day, it is an individual that is accounted for. Because we have seen people coming with ballot papers who are elected into power and who have turned out to be dictators too. It is very possible. So it is never about the weapon that one uses, whether it is a bullet.
No, because they turn that weapon, like, when you start to become a dissenting voice, that gun turns to you. That's the thing about these liberators.
But even those that are elected actually by a bullet, by a ballot, I am telling you, they also have an authority of a gun. That's why the army, like UPDF, will always be there. When you become a statesman, you will have a gun, you like it or not.
Yes, but at least let me not come with a gun. It's a difference when someone comes with the gun. Like Museveni.
No, leave alone. For you are talking about the intimidation. Someone telling you, I am master of violence.
Yes,
that is the part of
paper
intimidation.
will not take me out. And it's 40 years.
But even those that come with papers, I am telling you, there are those who say, this paper that I came with cannot take me out. It is all the same. So it comes back to someone whose values. What do you stand for?
So where does East you said we're organizing as East Africans.
Yeah, we are organizing as East Africans, and very soon.
But are we? I'm not seeing any semblance of organization. Maybe apart from Kenya. And also Kenya, they are divided. Raila Odinga, they're no longer trusting Raila and Ruto at the same time. So how organized are we? Are you just trying to encourage Ugandans?
You know why the Gen Zs decided to say it is leaderless, partyless,
colorless.
That analogy?
Yes, please.
It's because of people like the Railas of Odinga. Some of them used to hide in there, but they were never part from the beginning. So when you say that they are not, they are misunderstandings, it has never been there. He has never been there. So the young people, the young generation,
yes, sir,
it is unanimously joining together to fight the impunities over East Africa and Africa at large. So for me, I still see a phase of liberation on the continent. Ntingabo twali nebana generation ezaaliwo ne zitwala abafuzi b'amatwale
Yes.
tebyali byangu.
Yes.
You know, because we were not there, but sometimes they would rise and fail.
Took them
There is a
7
reason
years.
why. There is a reason why the Mau Mau people, it lasted for so long, for that time, because it wasn't that every day you rise up you win, you rise up you take over. No, it is in stages, and people should learn how to hang in there.
Oh, so what you're trying to say is we read the times, because there was a time when there were fights against what independence, fighting for independence.
Yeah.
Then post-independence,
Yeah.
there were liberation struggles all over Africa. Then after that, the rise of dictators. Now we are seeing a fall of dictators. So are you talking about such a time frame?
Yes, yes. That's why I'm saying that it is not only about reading the time, but the people are also preparing to get ready. Because when you see Tundu Lissu is in jail, here Dr. Kiza Besigye is in jail with the likes of Eddie Mutwe, with the likes of Obed, with the likes of very many people under incarceration. And you watch what is happening in Kenya, a lot of activists, every day they discover a dead body somewhere, dumped somewhere. So we know that something is happening.
Okay.
And we should just get ready.
Thank you so much. That is 5 minutes past the top of the hour. We are into the last 20 or so minutes, and we are coming to the end of this conversation. I am privileged to be with David Musiri, who is the head of institutions at the National Unity Platform, but also he is standing for Member of Parliament for Makindye West constituency, where we are streaming live from. So you can join the conversation at The Alternative Uganda, at Digital TV, that is on Facebook, on X, but also on YouTube. My name is Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. Now, there are new laws, sir, that have been amended, and we're just waiting for the President to consent to them. Amateeka mulimwera UPDF Amendment Act now, 2025, then Political Parties and Organizations Act. Gana amateeka majja gonna abiri political party eringa ebadde tegakkirizaamu. Naye atusooke ku tteeka lino erya UPDF. Kyemmanyi etteeka lino engeri gyeri highlighting ensonga ez'enjawulo, boogera ku pension eya aba soldiers, baagala ku formalizinga the Special Forces Command. Naye mulimu akawaayiro akasinga okubanga kali controversial ke kawaayiro k'okukomyawo General Court Martial, naye ate General Court Martial eno okubanga egenda kubanga eweebwa amaanyi okutryinga ba civilians oba abantu ba bulijjo nga gwe nange. So kino bannabyobufuzi bakirabye nga ekireeteddwawo okuleetamu oba okulemesa abantu abemu naddala abakola ebyobufuzi mu ggwanga. Njagala mpulire David Musiri kikyalowooza ku tteeka lino erijja.
First of all, on principle, it violates Article 92, which says that if, for example, if a ruling has been made by court, it should not be altered by any other branch of government. Nti kooti webanga yayimiridde n'esalawo ensalo oba n'esalawo okusalawo, Palamenti naye tesobola kujja kutandika ku debatingako ekyo kyemaze kusalawo. Kooti yakisalawo bulungi.
Mpulire sebo.
Negamba nti abantu tebalina kukozesebwa mu kooti z'amagye. A precedent was set by when the court ruled in favor of the 4 backbenchers over the 500 million and the 400 million corruption scandal that came as a service award. You remember the likes of Sechikubo had a censorship motion to censor the likes of the 4 backbenchers, the Honorable Mpuga and the other
commissioners,
4 commissioners of NRM. But the Speaker of Parliament stood her ground and said, actually through that very article of 92, that whatever has been ruled over by courts of law shall not be discussed in Parliament. And that's exactly what happened. Now, what is very important in this bill that it can still be brought back? One, it violates also the principle of separation of powers. Nti government etula ku masiga asatu. Waliwo essiga eriddamuzi, waliwo essiga erya parliament, waliwo n'essiga erya executive. Naye amasiga gano gonna galina kubeera nga gali independent in nature. Yensonga lwaki parliament is supposed actually also to whip the executive. Nti parliament webeera nga ina confidence ngeri independent yesobola okucheckinga essiga eryeki erya executive mubeera ba president ne ba ministers be ne public service witegera nti ekyo wekiba tekivuddewo kivola abantu ogenda kulaba nti etteeka lino oligibwa bweriti etteeka lino oligibwa bweriti because etteeka nga lijja for us we think about the spirit in which it is brought in.
Yes.
The spirit is
very important.
Naye gana amabago gonna ne wobo ogamba nti mulimu of course mubeeramu ebirungi kibeeranga nze na wetwabeeranga abato abaana abato bangi batyanga okumira buno obukerenda obukaawa naye nga bakateekako sugar coating. So one of the sugar coats is that they are going to discuss the pension system of the soldiers.
Yes.
They are going to discuss the insurance, which is a good thing. But why do you also smuggle in things like if you put on a shoe like that, actually that shoe, you can be tried in military code. That shoe you are putting, as long as it is a black shoe.
Yeah, even a kaunda suit.
Even a kaunda suit. So we must think about the spirit first.
Okay, but also the Supreme Court say, and it made a verdict, but it gave recommendations. It did actually not trash the General Court Martial. It said, in our mind, if you can do this, better this, put professional people on that General Court Martial who know how to dispense evidence, you professionalize that General Court Martial, then it will be in operation. So I'm thinking the people behind the bill are saying, we have now made this particular law better now. Let's bring it back to Parliament and be passed.
You see, having recommendation is there is another thing, and following them is also another thing. What does the law say? What does even... because there are rules of procedures. One of the rules of procedure, I think it is 128, which says that, for example, for a bill to be passed, it shall be given over 45 days. At least 45 days.
Yeah.
You know? But now, in the 45 days, one of the things that you have to do is also to benchmark.
Yes.
And have, for example, the law dons give their memorandum and also give their inputs. You saw papers flying over that, for example, for Uganda Law Society, they were invited at around 9 a.m. and they were supposed to give their input at noon, the same day. So what we have had question is why the hurry? Why are you rushing? Why are you rushing? You invite the Secretary Generals of parties, for example, ours, Dr. Lewis David Rubongoya. You invite him at night and he's supposed to present his input very early in the morning. You know? What rocket science? And why the rush? You see, so that's why we say we should look at the spirit into which these bills are brought in.
What is the spirit?
What is the spirit? The spirit is there is a tyranny who is forcing these people because, you know, the reason why they had slapped on me charges of aggravated robbery is because this court was not in presence. When they came to my home, when they raided my place, I am telling you, they searched everything. And theirs was, we need to get the overall. We need to have the barrette. You know? So you see, so we should look at really, for example, why would you have a political party amendment bill that says everyone should have a dialogue and the dialogue is now a law? that you must have a
munyumye
dialogue.
mu kifo ky'okulwana munyumye
Ali kunyumya ki ogenda kunyumya
lwaki oyagala ssente nga
kiri ku side eri nti mwami Museveni alina okubayita abatuuze abo abalabe.
no anti kyagamba mu kifo kyammwe ogenda mukole ebiri unconstitutional at least munyumye
A dialogue should be optional. It is me who decides
Okay,
if I want to talk
by
to
the
you.
way, you.
If I don't want to talk to you, why would you force
Then
me to
it's
talk
okay.
to you?
If you don't want to talk to me, then don't get the money.
Do you know the challenge with the money? What they raise there, it is accountability. Who
Yes.
doesn't account? Of all parties. Actually,
Most
NUP has not
political
been
parties
getting.
don't account.
NUP has not been getting that iPod money. It has been getting money from
Government.
Electoral Commission. Through Electoral Commission.
Yes, and government gives it to electoral commission.
But iPod money is not government
electoral
money.
commission gives it to
It is money that is robbed.
Yes, apart from that money, they are also saying this money from government, in order for you to get it, you have to
Has the
The 5 billion
has the
that
Electoral
you have
Commission
got.
come out that NUP has not accounted for what it is given?
But
Because for me, I am a NEC member in NUP, and my department works. I go for these campaigns, and whatever I use, I must receipt it. And we have internal auditors who come every month, every quarter, and audit our books. So has the Electoral Commission come out and said that, for example, NUP has not accounted for what it is given? So there is something that is being smuggled in any bill that you see there.
Why do
There
you
is-
want the
there
money?
is something that they are
no,
smuggling.
David, why do you want the money but you don't want to talk?
The money is constitutional.
Yes.
The money we want is constitutional.
Now-
we don't want the money that is supposed to be robbed to actually compromise heads, to compromise political leaders.
And what they are saying, in order for you to get the constitutional money, according to the new constitution, you have to sit down with DP, with PPF, with NRM, sit down and talk. What is the problem with you sitting down and
Now,
talk to access money?
instead of them forcing that, they would have gotten, they would have mitigated around the factors of why people don't want to meet. Why does NUP don't have talks with DP? Anyway, why would NUP have talks with DP when the DP president is the constitutional, the justice minister of NRM government? Even DP itself cannot sit itself down and speak
But
as we talk
politics
now.
is not about enmity. You
No,
see,
we are not talking about
I mean,
enmity.
yeah,
We are
you
talking
can
about
talk.
values
That's what
here.
I'm saying.
The reason why I don't want to talk to you is the values you stand for. It's not. It's never enmity.
How are you going
because
so that means in order for you to take my power, you'll have to first take me out. If you're not going to talk to me.
No, I am telling you, parties can take over power without even having a talk with the ruling party. It is very possible. You don't have now. You want us to talk about what? Kneel down and say, "Man, you are old. You are no longer thinking. Can we take over?"
Thank you so much. Let's move on to the issue that we have rebels. And why I ask you this is because I saw the name NUP linked to those rebels, that the rebels support NUP according to Kano Magezi. And the rebels are in this area. And that these rebels are being funded by one of the German, I think the German ambassador. He says he's funding subversive activities. That's the word they used. What do you think about this new phenomenon of having rebels in the country?
I think that should be treated as propaganda. Propaganda has always been there. Even when NRA was coming.
UPDF doing propaganda?
Yeah.
It feels like UPDF doing politics when you say that.
But UPDF has been always doing politics.
Let's
because
continue.
even before we go there, the reason why some of us think that even the UPDF amendment bill was wrong is because it is trying, one, to constitute SFC.
Yeah, legally now, yes. It's going to be another force. We're going to be having
But
four
by
forces.
force, it is still by force, and actually it is called a command. And there are a lot of people who are actually discussing on the same. But now it means, what is SFC? And Ugandan is mindful of what problems it can lead us into. Because you remember, I can tell you the problem with having two armies in the same country, it can, if you remember what happened to Saddam Hussein, the Republican command, the Republican brigade, the real UPDF refused to fight the enemy, and the Republican Guard were there. Did they fight anything? Saddam, where did it end? Gaddafi in Libya, he had an army of the ladies. What did it do?
No, but Auntie, what they are saying is that since the Constitution only thought we have land forces and air forces, let's just be open to say we have a land force, we have an air force, we have a special force, and we have the reserve force. So it's just to be open to say, but the UPDF has grown.
Special force is not special force as you think. It is a separate army.
In an army?
Yes, in an army. And that's why it is wrong. You know, during CA, the likes of, you know, even if someone was bad, you would remember the good things he had. Noble Mayombo, in a good spirit, in 1994, he said, because one, these other, the Musevenis and the other guerrilla people that had come from the bush wanted to name UPDF, not UPDF, but the Uganda Armed Forces. Actually, they wanted to make it Armed Forces. And Noble Mayombo said, no. We do not want to create another dictator. We want this army not to work for an individual, but to work for the people. Country. And that's why it was termed as the UPDF, the Uganda People's Defense Forces. People's, meaning that it is centered on theirs. The people. But he is bringing back the armed forces back through SFC. Okay. This is a personal army for the president. And such armies have always led countries into shatters. You know,
in Sudan,
because the people, the real army will abandon its work,
that what is in
and
Sudan?
They are not paid. Yes, even in
Sudan, RISF and Sudan People's Forces.
That's where it ends. It ends in the Kwagameya, and that's where we are going to. I am telling you, if Ugandans cannot rise and cannot see through this, this is not only. It's not like what some people say that this is Air Force. What? SFC has everything. It has the Air Force within it. It has the Land Forces within it. It has everything. It is an army on itself. And that's why everyone
Pledger said that you people have a problem, but it's a special force because they are special in nature. And he gave me an example that when they deployed 14 of them in Sudan, they did an operation that even restored sanity or peace back to that.
Then why don't you train all the UPDF people to be at the level of those? So you think there is magic? Or these are robots? These are human beings also. And I am telling you, apart from this intimidation and people fearing them, some of them are worthless. Some of them cannot even stand their ground for punches. Look at it.
That's how they should be shooting you people.
They're not shooting where?
So you called the rebels propaganda. But if it's not propaganda, this is tedious an issue. It's very big because we know with our history that rebels have taken power before in this country and it was not good. 500,000 Ugandans, more than that, lost their lives. So,
but we are talking about rebels taking power. We still have a president who calls himself a rebel, and the rebels are still occupying Uganda. Yeah, they are under occupation of the
no, by declaration, by the first declaration they made.
But every day is declaring wherever we have independence. Wherever you have independence in Kororo, he says, our government of the rebels, you know.
Yes, he knows, but when in some school of politics, they say when the illegitimate people take power, they become legitimate. So they became legitimate. But that's what I'm saying. With our background, don't you see this as a challenge?
I think
and you're also on ground, lastly, sorry. You're also on ground, you talk to the young people. I feel there is an anger down there. An anger that can brew into anything. So, is this still propaganda?
I think the young people's hunger is a good hunger, that they want the best for this country. None of them wants to burn Uganda into ashes. None of them. At least that one I am sure. actually people who don't wish well is those people who are now trying to purport to be in love of this country, to purport to be patriots of this country, who are not actually patriots of this country.
Okay.
But the young people want to have a country that they own, a country that they are accounted to, a country that will have their future protected.
Yes,
that's what the people want. And once that is given to them,
okay. Lastly, as we conclude, what do you make of the comments of Mr. Caleb Akwanda Salim Saleh when he met the German delegation? His description of Muhoozi himself, but also how he took on the issue of Muhoozi Kainerugaba. Him as I will just call him a senior citizen.
One of the things I cannot trust is one who has been a guerrilla fighter, because right now Akanda is still called Salim Saleh. He's not a Muslim, but he's Salim Saleh, and some people even greet him thinking he's a Muslim. So for one who is not pure, I don't think they can bring sanity. That's why I think they can say whatever they want to say, but they want to go through that. You see, there is what we call Skumawiki politics. Skumawiki politics. Skumawiki is sauce, you know, but this sauce is not for luxurious people that I really want to take this. But you only actually prefer it when there is scarcity. So when there is scarcity, you want to push for a week, and you have somehow thrive on this week. So this is what Akwanda is doing. He's trying to survive. You even abuse Muhoozi, you even abuse whoever you want to abuse, as long as they want their point to be taken, as long as they are leaving this shit and plan for another thing. So I don't. They are good at that. They are the masters of that.
It's just, you're just saying they're just
hoodwinking.
When he says he's almost a Gen Z, I feel that's a bit belittling, isn't it?
Why would you say he's almost a Gen Z? Someone who is actually 50 years,
exactly,
going to the 60 phase. Why? I have told you that from the personality of the one that you're asking me, one who is not a Muslim but purports to be a Muslim, how do you trust such?
Okay, so you're saying he who gives justice should come with clean hands.
Yes.
Give us your parting shots, sir.
To the people of East Africa, I think we had two schools of thought. There was one of Julius Nyerere and one of Kwame Nkrumah. For Kwame Nkrumah wanted Africa to get united. From the school of thought of Julius Nyerere, he proposed the regional, just like East African Federation, the likes. So it is strong betrayal by the president of Tanzania to do whatever she's doing. And sure, as we speak now, I think, because the dead are not dead in Africa. I know that I know that Mwalimu Nyerere, an alumnus from Makerere University, where I come from, he's not happy. And something is about to happen in the East African Federation. And we still demand for justice for Agatha Atuhaire and for Boniface Mwangi of Kenya. They should be given justice, should be compensated. As we stand as the people's Ujomia, we still demand for their compensation. We are going to still move on. We are not stopping now. We are still coming for you. We are coming Tanzania, we are coming Kenya, we are coming Uganda, we are coming East Africa. And for the people of Makindye West, we are just warming up. You know, when the verdict came out of the court of Nalukooal, everyone was calling me. Are you seeing what these people are saying? We are going to vote you, but we don't want this. So for us, we are ready.
Okay.
As people of Makindye, we are ready. We are coming.
Thank you.
Tuja.
Thank you. 1 minute to the top of the hour. Thank you so much, David, for joining us this morning. But thank you to our viewer for tuning in from the time we started at 8 a.m. up to now. Thank you so much. It's always humbling that you watch this particular feed from wherever you're watching from, especially the people in the diaspora. Thank you so much for always following this conversation. My name is Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. This is Digitalk TV. I would love to also applaud the lady on camera, that is Ted, but also Mr. Mukose Arnold Anthony is always the gentleman in production, making sure that you get this coverage in a clear image and better source as he can. So thank you so much to that team. We shall see you again tomorrow. It will be a Woman Crush Wednesday. Lillian will be here to usher you into the midweek. My name is Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. Please do follow me at Edgar M. Karuhanga on Facebook and X, that is Twitter. From the entire team, God bless you and good morning, Uganda.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.